Hi guys, so today we're going to learn a new language called Next.js. If you guys hear about this language, what do you guys think about? What comes to your mind when you hear Next.js? Previous. So you're thinking opposite? Something JavaScript. And I'm guessing you got this from the JS part, this part, right? Framework, not a language. Are you questioning my intro? No, that's true. It's not the next level. Hi, Pikmin. Server-side rendering. Next level. Na 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 na. Next. Espa. Espan가? Is it Espa? Node.js. Oh, stop cheating. Rendering. How'd you know? I see you. Okay, so let's learn more about it. 안 돼. Okay, so Next.js is an open source to web development framework. So it is a framework. So when I said it's a language, then I was wrong. So built on top of Node.js. Oh, so whoever said Node.js, good job. Thumbs up. I'll draw you a thumb. Enabling React-based web application functionalities such as server-side rendering and generic static website. Oh, so it has to do something with website applications. React documentation mentions Next.js among recommended tool chains, advising it to developers as a solution when building a server rendering website like Node.js. So you guys knew this because it was .js and that's where you got it. Where traditional React apps can only render their content in the client-side browser, Next.js extends this functionality to include application rendering on the server side. So you can render this on the server side too. Maybe that's the 장점. Copyright and trademark for Next.js are owned by company Vercel, formerly ZIET, Zerit? I don't know. Which also maintains and leads its open source development. Also, it is open source, so you guys can all use it. So, background. Back to normal. So, background. Next.js is a React framework that enables several extra features, including server-side rendering and generating static website. React is a JavaScript library that is traditionally used to build web application rendering in traditionally used to build web applications rendered in the client browser with JavaScript. So when they say this line, what does it mean? So when you use React, you only could render in the client browser. And developer recognized several problems with this strategy, however, such as not catering to users who do not have access to JavaScript or have disabled it, potentially security issues, significantly extended page loading time, and it can harm the site's overall search engine optimization. Frameworks such as Next.js sidestep these problems by allowing some or all of the website to be rendered on the server side before being sent to the client. So React uses a virtual DOM. So it's all on the browser. Oh. Next.js is one of the most popular frameworks for React. It is one of the several recommended tool chains available when starting a new app, all of which provide a layer of abstraction to aid in common tasks. Next.js requires Node.js and can be initialized using Node Package Manager. Google has donated to the Next.js project, contributing 43 pull requests in 2019, where they helped in pruning unused JavaScript, reducing loading time, and adding improved metrics. As of 2020 March, the framework is used by many large websites, including Netflix, GitHub, Uber, Ticketmaster, and Starbucks. Ooh. In early 2020, it was announced that Vercel had secured $21 million in Series A funding to support the improvement to the software. 21 million? Wow. The framework's original author, Guillermo Rauch, sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, is currently the CEO of Vercel, and the project's lead developer is Tim. Development history. The Next.js was first released as an open source project on GitHub on October 25th, 2016, 5 years ago. What? This has to be updated. Now it's 6 years ago. Almost 6 years. It was originally developed based on 6 principles. Out-of-the-box functionality requires no setup, JavaScript everywhere, all functions are written in JavaScript, automatic code splitting and server rendering, configurable data fetching, anticipating requests, and simplifying deployment. Next.js 2.0 was announced in March 2017, including several improvements that made it easier to work with small websites. It also increased the build efficiency and improved the scalability of the hot module replacement feature. And then it's a couple of the versions being updated. So my question is, I'm still not understanding what this web application rendered in the client browser. I mean, I understand that React does rendering in the client browser with JavaScript, and that because that has so many issues, such as, you know, security issues, someone has access to JavaScript, blah blah blah, that Next.js is actually doing all this on server browser. So when you say render on the server versus client, what does it mean? Maybe that's where we should go. Server computer in the cloud. So they're doing the rendering now on cloud. Client is PC here. It will run React on server. Then so before it didn't run on the server? Client. So client browser here is PC. On my computer, but now it goes, using Next. So correct me if I'm wrong. So Next, you guys are saying, goes to server, which is cloud, which is like online PC. Online PC라 해야 되나? And then outputs HTML, blah blah blah, and then to website. But originally, like React did client browser, meaning own PC, and then get out the website, phone, etc. So if the that's why they said if you don't have JavaScript or have disabled it, then it won't work. Damn. So smart people. Oh. So that's why they earn so much, and so a lot of people must be using this. What did I do in 2016, guys? So styling and features. Next.js supports styling with CSS as well as pre-compiled SCSS and SASS. CSS and JS, and style JSX. What is this? Tongue twister? In addition, it is built with TypeScript support and smart bundling. The open source transpiler Babel is used to transform and compile code into JavaScript usable by a browser. Webpack, another open source tool, is used to bundle the module afterward. All of these tools are used with npm in a terminal. Oh, hey, I heard about this one. So the main feature is its use of server-side rendering to reduce the burden on web browser and provide enhanced security. This is actually super cool. But we can say that Next.js started this idea of rendering it on server side. 2016. This can be done for any part of the application or the entire project, allowing for content-rich pages to be singled out for server-side rendering. It can also be done only for first-time visitors to reduce the burden on web browsers that have yet to download any of the site's assets. The hot reloading feature detects changes as they are made and re-render the appropriate page, so the server avoids the need to be restarted. Oh. This allows changes made to the application code to be immediately reflected in the web browser, though some browsers will require the page to be refreshed. The software uses page-based routing for developer convenience and includes support for dynamic routing. Other features include hot module replacement so that module can be replaced live, automatic code splitting, which only includes code necessary to load the page, and page prefetching to reduce load time. Oh, super, lots of feature. I just started learning Next.js a bit ago, moved a few of my personal React site to it. Ooh. It actually was always server-side until we got more client-side recently. What? So it started on server-side and then got onto client-side and then back to server-side? That sounds so weird. Next.js also supports incremental static regeneration and static site generation. A compiled version of the website is usually built during build time and saved as a .next folder. When a user makes a request, the pre-built version, which are static HTML pages, are cached and sent to them. This makes the load time very fast, but it's not suitable for every website because for interactive sites that change often and utilize a lot of user input will not be suitable. Wow. So I'm guessing these C also examples are their competitors. Like, guys. Competitors. Like, what is Next.js? It's 너무한 거 아니야? Like, what is his name? Why are they doing that though? And you guys mentioned Angular, which is a framework too. So reading about Next.js, actually this one will be simple, but Next is the view version of Next. View version. Cause what's view? View is a language? Vue is another JavaScript framework like React or Angular. Oh. Another FV. So this is here. And then React is another thing. So many things related to... Can I ask another kind of stupid question, guys, by the way? So you guys say this is a framework. What's a framework? Like library? Like NPM is... But that's... NPM's not framework. Like React is a framework. So I have to think of it like React. So maybe that's why a lot of people always tell me to use framework, because they're easy to use instead of hard coding. Wow, 진짜, guys, honestly, after learning all this, and if I go back to Tweety, I sigh. What was Jinri thinking at the time? What was Glotzy thinking at the time? Why didn't he tell me, Jinri? Are you sure? That kid made Tweety the most complicated. Honestly, I kind of want to rewrite it, but I think that's gonna be taking too much time. But I do want to maybe rewrite it to React, but I'm not proficient in React, so maybe that's not a good idea. But next time, so I think I learned the hard way in saying just use framework. Yeah. Web framework is basically a library with pre-built features to help build web page components. Oh, thank you. Would be good time to rethink the UI for Tweety. I kind of want to do that. So basically, it's all the same except for different features and functionalities. So then, guys, for today, let's make a conclusion. So how do you guys want to conclude Next.js? I want to say, we learned what server versus client is, and that Next.js is used to render through server instead of client, and that I don't see other benefits though, that there are many competitors, but got good funding, so have potential. Does this look like a good conclusion, guys? So I wrote that it renders through clients. The server renders through renders. Come on. Oh my god, Jinri, your brain doesn't work. Oh, sorry, guys. So conclusion is that basically we learned what server versus client is, and that for Next.js, it renders through the server, aka cloud. And that there are many competitors to the Next.js, but they got a good funding. So if you want to learn a new language and you haven't got a chance to learn about Next.js, this one might be a good one to look into, since, you know, like 21 million isn't that bad. It has more functionality on top of base React. It is easier to set up server-side rendering, so it can render faster for static data. And since it React, you can still do client-side stuff. So who used Next before? Maybe I should use Next. No wonder you knew so much in depth. React, Vue, and Angular. So React is also a framework, right? Dude, I learned about React and it kind of went... forgot about it. What I find interesting is the fact that you can have multiple framework for one type of code. Yeah, you cheated. So for Next.js, I think this is a good ending since it was quite short, but for those who want to try using it, I highly recommend it since it seems like a good thing for future reference. Sounds good? So that's all for Next.js, guys. Thanks.